Hello, welcome back to Questioning Fashion. Third episode.
Woo! We're going so well.
Sure. What's this week's topic?
Colour.
Colour. Good.
Yes.
I'm excited for this one.
Me
When
too.
you suggested this one, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I love colour. I like talking about colour.
Same.
It's not too heavy.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I'm sure I'll get narky about something, but I guess that's probably the first question. Is my
Can I show you this
invitation to get narky?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, you've got another.
I brought Show and Tell again.
Colour Guide International. It looks like a golfing brochure.
It's a colour dictionary.
Holy moly! It's like Pantone, but
It's
without
basically just a book of paint sample, I guess.
Oh wow,
But
how gorgeous!
In multiple languages. And
Yeah,
I don't know, it was just like
nice.
my favourite thing when I was a kid. My mum got it in Japan when I was little, I guess. Or maybe before I was born. I don't know.
Oh, I love that this
But-
was your favourite thing I get.
I
from
loved it.
Yeah.
It's always bothered me that the pages are like they should be in the corners so you can actually match them.
Yeah,
But it is such a pretty
smart.
book the way they've given each like colour space. And,
Yes,
yeah,
true.
I like it.
Yeah, I love that.
Anyway, just thought we could have that as reference.
Yeah,
if you wanted.
definitely. Colour. I mean, it's such a wonderful thing. For some reason, it's ended up with having so many rules around it that it's kind of ruining the fun of colour and the potential of colour for me. I don't know. Do you know any colour rules that you remember from your childhood or from anyone telling you in design, like in when you were learning fashion?
There's this blue and green must never be seen thing, which never made much sense. I've heard the one about like opposite sides of the colour wheel.
Yeah.
And
Being what?
that you
Good
don't-
or bad? You don't?
Yeah, that you don't, or you do, or you,
Hilarious.
there's something about that. It's mainly about neutrals, the ones that I hear and regularly break about, like wearing navy and black together, or like
Yeah.
you know, if you're wearing navy, you have to wear brown shoes and brown bag. Not. It's. I think they come from menswear, which is sometimes men do need some rules to just
They do.
help them along.
That's very true, actually.
I'm generalizing massively, but
Well, my
there is a theory
husband's-
to it.
yeah.
Not wearing brown and black together. That
Yeah,
kind of like because that's where I struggle because you love to mix bright colors and that can you can have fun with that.
Yeah.
Whereas I do like my neutrals
Your
and so
classic,
that's the one where I kind of get like, oh, why can't I wear brown and black? I like brown and black together. I like.
And so what do you do? Do you
I just wear
ignore
yeah,
the rules?
yeah, of course I ignore the rules.
Cool. Because
Yeah.
rules were made to be broken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So blue and green, black and blue,
What about
black and brown. There's been lots of rules over the years about like you say, contrasting colours, opposite end of the wheel. One season it's like, there's always someone conservative saying that you shouldn't do that, but then it's all over the catwalk.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
frankly, I believe that that's the ultimate kind of contrasting colour, and therefore complementary colour is the one that's directly opposite on the colour wheel. It's always going to be an interesting colour no matter what the trends are. It's always going to be an interesting combo. So I hate rules, as you know, in general, but there's often a reason for the rule in the first place, and as you say, formal, and what we were talking about last week, situational, appropriateness. I get that there are rules, but in general I think if you're just a person who has no uniform in their life, then I think it's worth just ignoring every rule you've ever honestly and kind of going with the eye.
There's no fashion police, so who gets to set
No,
rules,
exactly.
But
we're made to believe there is
a lot of it is about like associations, which I know you had on our topic list, and so I would love to do a whole episode about all of that. But the thing of like the opposite colour wheels, my mum always calls that like football colours. So like they end up contrasting like similar tones of brightness, like say that red and that green, that's Rabbitohs. Or you end up looking like a football player or like a jockey, the jersey, the silks that they wear for horse racing.
Which, by the way, I love. I would totally.
We don't love that horse racing exists.
No.
We
love the fashion. I love the jockey look.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like some people just don't want to look like a jockey or a football player. But if you are if you're watching the footy going, I like that team's colours, then wear those team's colours.
It was only yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but blue and like a maroon. Is that New South Wales in the state of origin?
Well,
Or,
New South Wales is blue and Queensland.
Oh,
maroon.
okay, that's not what I'm
clash.
thinking of.
Yeah.
A certain kind of blue, a certain kind of maroon, and that's what I was wearing yesterday. And I was aware of it. It was a familiar combination.
Yeah.
But I had something else. And it's our school uniform.
Yeah.
But I had something else on the top, between them. It was a jacket and pants, and I had a top that kind of got in the way of that. I guess.
So that's okay.
Well, I made it okay, and it's also with any associations, it's like, yes, there's association. Does that bother you or doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's leads me to my question: is what are some of your all-time favorite color and pattern combinations? Like, I know you love a bit of everything.
I do.
But do you have any that you just constantly go back to?
I've never grown out of. When I was a little girl, it was pink, purple, and red. And so anyone would ask me, or not even ask me, and I would just announce that my favourite colours are pink, purple, and red. All of them the same, together. And I'm basically still the same. Look at me.
Colours are so important to children. My daughter came home this week and was like, I've suddenly changed my favourite colour from blue to orange. Wow. And she said it as though
colour wheel.
Not even like, this is a decision I've made. It's like, I've just realised.
Epiphany.
How did that happen? It was really
so
funny.
Interesting. I mean, there's a whole essay in that, I'm sure.
But it is like, it becomes like your personality at school.
Yeah.
And my favourite was green, and it still is.
But my favourite colours to put together are, so I've been avoiding purple for ages. So purple's been off the radar for ages.
That's one of the few that I'm like, no. Not interested, don't
worry.
Well,
we'll get to the interesting fact of that.
Okay, good.
But pink and red.
Yes.
And there's a Valentino catwalk look from years ago that was like pink and red, and I actually did something in a Vogue. It was actually Vogue Living, because it was a decor trend, but we used a catwalk shot, and I was just like, it's just like the best combination.
It's a very happy combination.
Yeah.
One of my favourite ever windows I've done was a Valentine's Day window, and I did pink and red, and it was like a soft pink with a cool but strong red, like this kind of red. I still think about that photo. I keep trying to put it together in outfits for people, and they just go, "Oh, it's too
much,
Cupid-y, too Valentine's-y." And I'm like, I get it, but I do love how.
As long as it's not Valentine's Day. Oh well, even if it is, go the theme. But I get
it's
it.
Not a combo I would wear.
I get that people are afraid of clashing colours, and in the name of research, I was looking at some of those design websites that talk about colour in terms of branding and colour trends seem to be probably more a thing in decor and more a thing in design. Labels and packaging and all of that stuff. But the funny thing is, they went through all the kind of this year's trends, and I feel like they covered everything in terms of pastels. One was pastels, one was saturated hues clashing, so one was like neons, and one was like neutrals. It's like, well, you just covered off everything. Which basically
that's nice though.
That confirms my point that and especially now, because I was talking to someone at the Garage Sale Trail on the weekend, someone she's an interior designer, and she's really into vintage fashion, and she's got her vintage look. She's also really into cars, and she's got vintage cars, and we were talking about colour. And she was saying that she's noticed there's a lot more colourful cars around. And I've noticed that too, because we play Spotto in the car. And there are way more Spottos. We do Snotto for green cars, Pink Lady, Purple Rain.
Wow.
And we just like, blah, blah, blah. It's like Tourette's in there. Like we're just, spouting off all of these colours. And it's like they've definitely grown in popularity. And I definitely have noticed more, at Australian Fashion Week just gone, there was loads of full suits of, like bright peach or lime green or that kind of thing. And then there'd be peach and lavender together, and there'd be there was a lot of really interesting and lots of really kind of naive color combos in a way, childish kind of, which I love, playful. So there's definitely been a thing for a while. There has definitely been an interest in color, and especially block color and monochrome.
One of my favorites that I always wear is like this green with leopard.
Oh,
or like
totally.
a darker green as well. I love whenever people pick up leopard coats in the shop, and we have a few of them, I'm always like, green dress,
with a
green dress, or green shoes.
And do they appreciate that?
Yeah, sometimes.
Is that because we like the again, always associations? Jungle. It's the leopard coming out of the jungle.
It looks so classy and 60s and like Elizabeth Taylor.
Definitely. I totally love it. And leopard is always in my opinion.
And it's a neutral.
And it's definitely neutral. I agree. I think
but in my, like, in defense of like people who aren't always into super bright colors.
Yeah.
I think one of my other favorite color combos, which you probably wouldn't even consider a color combo, is like white and denim.
Yeah.
Like
crisp.
Yeah, I just love. I love that look.
I would.
And white with I think that's how I like to wear bright colours, is like to put white with them, because it sort of brightens them, but you're not clashing, or you don't have to think as much about what to put together, because it's better than putting black with a bright colour.
Agreed.
As much as I do love black, and I will happily wear black with quite a few different colours,
it doesn't work with a bright colour. Ask
Trini
and
It doesn't
Susanna.
work the way people think it will.
No.
They think it will tone it down, but it doesn't.
No.
I don't know what
it cheapens it or something. Yeah.
It's a bit like a corporate uniform of like, we're all going to wear yellow shirts and black work pants.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
It's really hard to know what that's about, but I often talk about it being it's too much of an argument, because black to me is not a neutral. In my opinion, black is not a neutral. It is way too strong. I don't really see white as a neutral either, but I agree. I wear a white shirt with this skirt. Obviously I've got white boots again. I agree. And I actually always seem to be slagging off beige and those colours, but I also constantly recommend those colours to wear with bright prints and stuff. And it doesn't have to be beige. It could be, I always say, it's any kind of colour that you would find like predominantly in nature. So like really, like even like rust and kind of a khaki and those kind of colours. If you think of those as neutrals, you can put those with like a brightly patterned, and it can have that toning down effect, that kind of harmonizing kind of effect. It can, depending on.
It has to be done skillfully though.
It does.
I
know.
Yeah.
That's why people are afraid to try. What colours do you think suit you? Well, I guess you've said already green, but why?
I do. Oh well. I don't.
Oh well, that's really unprofessional. Apologies.
I don't. Like you, I don't really believe in the whole like you can't wear this, you can wear that.
Yeah.
I would say strong colours, but I think strong colours suit everyone. That's the thing. Like, and the things that I don't, because you did bring it up, is like beige and sort of soft pink. Anything kind of close to skin colour. Is not something I'd really wear, or I'd wear very carefully in a way that's like, a top under a jacket with a skirt, so it's not next to your skin. Or
or you break it up with
There's a top in the shop that's like a turquoise colour, and I wore it one day and I just all day was feeling like, I don't look that great, and then I got changed because I was hot, and once I got changed I was like, I do look good, it must have been the colour. So so I think there is sometimes certain colours, but I think people get way too hung up on it. Like, what is everyone's problem with yellow? It seems like a really old-fashioned one, that people shouldn't wear yellow.
This is the thing, it's like you can put something on, and no matter how lacking in confidence you are in your own ability to sense style and what goes with what, I think that pretty much everyone is able to see if that washes them out, if that colour washes them out. And I think that's when you either use something like jewelry or a scarf just to, because you can still wear it, it's just it might not want to,
or you decide how much you care about it.
But what the problem is that people don't even try these things on in the first place, because they're told not to wear yellow, and it's like, but hold on, yellow, there are billions. I think I read there's 17 billion known colours, like as in named colours, or Pantonian
not
colours.
all in my dictionary.
No. So it's like, how do you know that every single yellow in that, and how do you know every single beige? There are kind of there are bluer beiges, there are greyer beiges, there are more yellow beiges, there are
but the ability to see that is something that some people have and some don't.
No, true, actually,
to varying degrees. And it's sort of to do with eyesight. Apparently it's to do with like how many cones you have in your eyes, or how many colour receptors.
Really?
And that's something that generally evolutionary, like, men have less of. The theory is that women are hunter-gatherers, so we need to differentiate between different types of berries and plants, whereas men just need to see in the distance, and they need to see things moving fast.
That is so funny. Oh my god.
I don't know if there's anything behind that, but I do love it. Yeah, I love it. See, you do love to be like, there's no rules, wear whatever you like, but I think you have a very natural ability, like I do, to see which colours work and which don't, and also to know when you're saying, of course you can wear red with purple, you know the right red to put with the right purple.
Yeah.
And some people don't have that ability.
Okay.
And
fair call.
so they sort of lack that confidence to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're sort of like, you can put any colours together, but it's, you can you can always put a red with a purple, but it needs to work.
And so I'm then assuming that person will look and go, no, it doesn't work, I'll move on to something else, or yes, it does work.
They might not be able to see that.
And I hear that, absolutely.
And in that case, separates and coordinates are your friend.
Because
that's a way to have fun with colour, that like a designer has already done the work for you.
True. But I would also say, and pattern, when someone else has decided that those patterns, not that all patterns are nice, I mean, you get some awful colour combinations and patterns that just don't work, but it is a good way. Like, you could say, if you bought this skirt and fell in love with it, but you're not naturally good with colour, you just choose one of the colours. Definitely, absolutely, and Isaac Newton, I think, was the one who invented the colour wheel, and he had all these theories about how we see, but definitely that we see colour differently. So not only do some of us have more of an eye for colour than others, but also we see colour differently. And I'm not just talking about colourblind people. And my dad once famously described it was in the 80s, and it was a grey, black, white and red carpet, if you can imagine, very 80s. And he was like, it's green. It's green. He just saw it as one colour, and the colour was green.
This is one of my favourite, like, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, but like just thought experiments. It's like, what if we actually all see completely different colours? We wouldn't know. Like, the way that like a lot of colourblind people don't discover until quite late in life. Like, you can go a long time without realising that the red that someone else is talking about is different to the red you're seeing. Like I love thinking about.
And how can you start comparing?
How would we know?
That's true.
But I guess the fact that we can put together like a colour spectrum,
and a colour wheel,
and you can see it makes sense.
And the colour wheel is really useful for people who, like you say, are a little bit kind of not really struggling with the concept, but basically that you've got the things that are more red in tone and then more blue in tone, and it's like, so you've got a purple, and then you've got let's say a violet, and then you've got a blue violet on that side and a kind of red violet on that side, and it's like knowing the difference. So this is more of a red violet but tinted, because it's white. It's got white in it. So it's that kind of thing that is probably good to get to know. But I guess my thing is just don't let it paralyze you.
Yes, what you're saying reminds me of colour consultants and that.
Yes. So have you heard of colour consultants? Is your mom or anyone?
Oh, my mum is so anti that kind.
Yeah. Okay. Is she?
Because she, like us, has the ability, and she's a painter as well. So like, because when you mix your own colours, it's very easy for her to look at a colour and know exactly like the ingredients in that colour. So she hasn't seen a colour consultant, but she is of that era.
Interesting.
Where like people did see, and there's a lady came into the shop once and was talking. She was a colour consultant. She was talking to me about the work, and she pulled out this little, that's what you pay for when you get a colour consultant. You pay for the little colour fan thing, and they do look fun to play with. But she's like, and then I give my clients this, and they take it shopping, and they know their colours. I'm like, that sounds so terrifying. Like, what if you forget your colour wheel when you go shopping? Or,
so they take
like,
it every time.
And what you say about like being paralysed by these rules, that like you've paid a lot of money to have someone tell you that you can wear this yellow but not that yellow, and then it's all too hard, so you just don't wear yellow.
Especially if you're not shopping secondhand.
Yes.
Or even if you are, and if you go into some awful place like Juba. Sorry, it's one of my least favourite places because it just looks. I have no idea. What would you say?
Cuba?
Cuba? It's always the same colours, like each new collection. It's just like one colour. Like if you're going into those kind of shops in a mall and you can't find that colour, you're stuffed. Like, I mean, what's the fun in that anyway? Yeah. And it's like, so how does she get to that point in the fan where they find the colour?
Fabrics. They have the fabric things. Have you seen it?
No, I've been asked to do it, and I have. I've given jobs away, saying go to someone who actually does this, and I know someone who does it, and I'm not dissing her work at all.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know anything about it. That's all.
Yeah, they get like a colour, so kind of like the hairdresser smock things.
Oh.
And it's got different colours, and they sort of put it all, and they look in a mirror, and.
But has it got 17 billion colours on it?
No, I think there's lots of them. I don't know.
That's just my point, you know what I mean? There's so many variations. Look at all these
think,
whites!
I also just feel like it's actually not that important that you wear colours that look good on you. You know, like,
And also, isn't it skin changing?
You really, if you need like a professional to see the difference between how one red looks on you versus another red, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's always the fear is always, oh, it washes me out. Oh, it washes me out. Makes me look pale. Like, it's okay to be pale. Like, you know, it's sort of working on this ideal that we all need to look like sun-kissed and healthy, and like, you know, it's okay to look pale if you want.
And also, it doesn't take into account the fact that our skin changes all the time. And when people say, oh, I can't do that colour. And it's not even a shade of that colour, it's, I can't do red.
Yeah, that's what,
What? There's so many reds.
Like, you know, I've said that I don't really wear purple, but it's kind of those tertiary colours that I don't wear much, like purple, turquoise.
Well done for knowing tertiary and secondary.
I have a design degree, Jo.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't really wear those colours, but then if it's really bright, then I'll love it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think, never say never, as we've probably said in every episode so far.
Don't be... That's probably a really good point to start, because I was literally losing.
We were sort of wrapping up talking about the whole colour rules and how it can be paralysing or scary for people, but that you don't need to be that scared, because it doesn't matter as much as people make you think it does.
And if you mess up, if you wear colours that really don't work well together, through my eye, the only colours that have really not worked well together are purely because of associations, not because of tones and hues and whatnot. Like, so for me, I still have an issue. One of the few colour combos that I struggle with is the McDonald's colour combo. And
that's a good point.
Yeah. So,
but it's also just generally a fast food combo. You're talking yellow and red, right? Yeah. Because that's a whole other thing of like branding colours and how the reason all the internet corporations are blue, you know, Facebook blue and Twitter blue, you know, and that fast food is often almost always red. And usually with yellow in, because like Hungry Jack's
Red
Burger King
Rooster
is yellow. There's a huge chain in Asia called Jollibee, and it's red and yellow. And like I think a lot of fast food is that combo, because it looks like ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, and then you think
you're right, I wouldn't wear that. Oh, wait a minute, show and tell.
I absolutely love it. What the hell? When did you get that? I've never seen it.
Haven't you?
Never, no.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this was my auntie's like patio set, you know, like when you're hosting a barbecue, you wear
You do though, you do.
Yeah. But yeah, red and yellow.
Okay, so you know what? The navy really, really helps in its kind of...
You know what? If the navy wasn't there, I might still like it.
I know. But is that because it's seersucker and it has rickrack?
Yeah,
is that because
it's so like 70s?
Look at the back.
There's no back to it.
It's the style of it. Look at the lack of back.
Yeah. So
I love
there's always an exception. It's how you mix them, but I wouldn't wear like a yellow top with a red skirt.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I wouldn't say, if I just wore the top, I wouldn't know what to put that with. I think it would look weird with navy. It would look a bit like a Macca's uniform.
Yeah, they're difficult
like,
colours.
You have to wear the whole thing. You have to commit and wear the whole thing.
Because these are the primary colours, and I know that's navy, so obviously it's had a bit of a black, you know, infused. Yeah. But I think part of the problem with these colours, why they're hard to match with other colours, is that they are the primary colours and they are so strong, and it's like three bossy buggers in the like middle of it all, and like how do you get a team around them, you know?
But I'd probably wear like red and yellow and orange or something. That would be fun.
Yeah, and totally. The orange would kind of bridge them almost, literally, like, because that would be the three on the colour wheel. There's a word for that. Analogous. Analogous. Does that make sense? Where it's next to each other on the colour. I think that's right. There's lots of theories around this, and you could learn a bit about it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. And you've got to always recognise that any issues with fashion and any like, ooh, that looks bad, there's usually an association, which we'll touch on in another show. And there's an association as to why you think that.
And I think when you're talking about like there's no colour combo that looks, there are some where you see, and it's always like a guy on a weekend and he's just wearing cargo shorts in khaki, but he's also wearing, I don't know, like some shirt that he got for free that doesn't go with, you know, But that's lack of effort, and maybe that's a fun challenge, is like to get two colours and go, okay, how would you make them work?
Yeah, totally.
And I think if you tried hard enough, you probably could get to a solution with every colour combo. But it takes effort.
It takes
and
effort.
That's what
and
you're
interest.
often seeing when you're like,
yeah,
exactly. And when you're seeing someone and it's just like, why did you think that those things would work together? But it's like, he didn't take any time to think about it. And that's why it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
It's not actually the colours themselves. Although, so you sent me an article, I think for the purpose of laughing at it.
Oh yeah,
about like colour rules. And there was a lot in it. But they were saying like, avoid wearing monochrome because it's so easy to get wrong. And I was at first like, no, I love monochrome. And then like, no, she has a bit of a point. Right. Because like, I think wearing two reds that don't work together will look...
Well, that's when you start going, if you take it, if the two reds are too similar, but not similar enough, I agree. Then I would be hesitant because it looks unintentional. They're not
exactly. Yes, exactly.
Or the other way around.
Mistake. Yeah,
it looks like a
Which
mistake.
is why I used to play music as a kid, and if you're in an orchestra, you have to wear black. All black.
Black's the hardest to match. Yeah.
And so if you are in an orchestra pit and everyone's wearing all black and the light's shining off your shiny instruments, of course it looks lovely. But then you get to a recital where people are playing solos on stage with strong stage lighting, and it used to drive me crazy. You know, as a 13-year-old sitting there waiting for my turn to play the flute, seeing everyone on stage going, the black doesn't match, under the bright light. It was so distracting to me, because classical music is kind of, it's lovely to listen to, but you do end up getting visually distracted.
Yes, absolutely.
You're looking at something in the corner of the stage, or you're watching a flyer fly around the light,
if you're visual.
You're looking at how their black top is kind of a purpley black and their black skirt is a greeny black, or one's faded more than the other. And so that, I think, would be my only real
actually the black thing definitely
hard and fast
is mine.
colour rule. Is that sometimes if you're putting two things that you think are the same colour together and they're not, that's like
tricky.
Wedding dresses.
Yes.
I can't stand seeing an ivory wedding dress with a white veil or vice versa. It's so annoying because sometimes you can't tell until you get them outside.
Yes.
And it's most obvious outside in the shade, I find.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I think that's specifically with white. It has to do with the UV light. And that's so when I'm making wedding dresses, we take things outside and look and check, because it's the worst if you only find out on the day. Or sometimes you can't even see it with your eyes, and then it shows up in photos, and so that's my only colour thing.
Because it feels kind of, especially for an event like a wedding, it feels sloppy. It feels like a mistake. A mistake. So then what you can, but then I love monochrome, and it's funny that article said that, because then another article I read this morning was like, monochrome is still, it was something like monochrome is still, the monochrome trend continues. But I think a lot of that, I think almost like the more brave the colour that you choose to monochrome is, the kind of, probably the more you'll get away with, if you know what I mean. Because it just looks intentional. It's like, she probably realises that they're similar but not the same.
Certain things like different blues, I think, will almost always look quite good together. Whereas reds are more harder to match.
It's true. But I love wearing a bright red and a maroon, or a bright red and not a maroon so much as a burgundy. It's more of a kind of yellowy burgundy rather than a bluer maroon, if that makes sense. But like I love that combo, and you wouldn't think of it. And
And how do you find those combos? Like, are you literally just trying on everything like the Clueless fashion machine?
But in real,
or do you find them like in life
as well?
So,
well, because I have an interest in it. It's a hobby. This is my hobby as well. So I often I have to say I do love Pinterest. I like it because I hate all the ads, the constant ads, and you've got to be really careful just to ignore those. I love that it does recognize the things that you favor. So I get a lot of Gucci style things, or a lot of Gucci. I get a lot of African prints. I get a lot of Yevu style and Stella Gina. All my favorite designers just pop up all the time.
I just still get luxury bathrooms because I renovated my bathroom last year. So I'm still getting fancy bathrooms. I'm like, we've already been over this. I can't afford a marble bath.
Oh, that's just depressing. I don't know how you stop that.
No, it's okay. I love my bathroom. It's great.
Okay. I have my favourite style, street style photographer websites. And find who your favourites are. And like, if you just purposefully look for those one afternoon and you start following them, and then, and you know, I think you can still on Instagram get notifications when a certain person posts, can't you?
Yeah, and you can subscribe to hashtags, which is
that's true. Yeah. So so you might subscribe to the hashtag monochrome outfit or something.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
street style.
Street style.
Yeah.
And so I have my favorites, and they're my favorites because they go for people who are a little bit different, not just somebody who's wearing all the current collection in a look that is literally straight off the catwalk, which is not interesting to me. It's those people who are a little bit, often you find them more likely in London. It's the London Fashion Week, and where they're doing something completely original, and then I go, I might copy that. I'm not afraid to kind of admit that. So this is the same with color combos. That color combo I referred to earlier is exactly like I think that was from Pinterest.
But do you ever look beyond fashion?
Yeah.
Like, do you see like a bird? Don't know whether that was colours.
Thank you for this segue, because I would have not mentioned my thing that I say all the time, which is the whole Mother Nature is the greatest designer.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, is why I hate the whole thing of all these colour combos that are new. Do you think she gives
well, especially when green's involved, because like
green
is a neutral in nature,
and I just
you
got
mix all the greens, and it all looks good.
I've got a bikini where the top is like a sky blue and the bottom is like a kind of leafy green, and I love that combo because it just feels like I'm in nature when I'm wearing it, and I'm literally wearing nature colours. And everyone talks about beige as being natural or they do neutral. It's not natural. Is fuchsia, the little little ballerina flowers, purple and bright pink.
You mentioned earlier mixing beige and those kind of neutrals with brighter colours. It does work in nature, because you think of like at the beach, the sand colour with the bright blues, like you know, imagine putting together an outfit with like a beige shirt and then like 4 different shades of bright blue.
Exactly.
And you're the ocean for a day, you know?
So just don't wear a shell necklace, because then you become a cliche or too much to theme.
Yes. That was one of our big things when I studied fashion design, was that to unlearn from high school textiles and like, okay, gather your inspiration for your project. And so you're like, okay, Vogue.com, find all the runway looks. And one of the big rules with like, if you're designing your own clothes, don't look at other clothes. You know, we would always do it anyway. Like, of course designers copy each other. Like there are so many brands that just literally go overseas, buy a bunch of vintage and copy it for their own collection. And that is a legit way to design things, it's fine. But if you're teaching students how to be original, and if you would like to, you know, learn to think wider, you know, more out of the box, don't let your fashion be inspired by fashion. And so, you know, could probably apply to everything. Don't let your interiors be inspired by interiors. Go out beyond that.
It helps to start with, but
the way you say about copying outfits, that is a way to sort of, you find a painting that you love and you're like, I love the colours in this, how would I wear these colours? Then maybe you go to Pinterest and you see how other people combine bright colours, and so I think don't not look at outfits, but
agreed.
There's so much more out there to be inspired by.
There is, definitely. I absolutely agree with that.
Can we talk trends?
Okay, so trends.
Because we've said before, we are not anti-trend. We like seeing what people are doing. There does tend to always be like a colour, and you were kind of talking about this before, where in the shops there'll just be like 1 or 2 colours that are everywhere. So what do you reckon the colour at the moment is?
The colour at the moment, well, you know how Pantone has a colour, Pantone has a colour of the year. The colour of the year 2022, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was purple. It was a kind of, I think it was called
variations of purple for a few
years. So it was, what do you call it? It was digital lavender. And then, I might have got this the wrong way around, and then 23 is very perry, or it could be the other way. And they're both really similar purples. Like, so that's why I've had this open, you know, kind of this.
I would say that's around a lot.
I definitely remember having this colour.
With brown.
And having those little crocodile clips during the Spice Girls kind of era. And they were sparkly that with glitter. It makes me think the theory that what goes around eventually comes around, and purple has been out of favour for so long, and people have been off purple. Just in the everyday, it's been anecdotal for me that people purple seems to always be the least favoured colour, and it's like, well, it's about time it's back.
We'll get random people in the shop though who like love purple.
Yeah,
That
you've
seems
always
to be
got,
my
there was
thing.
the alternative.
Yeah, it's
people.
like there's either people that don't wear it at all, or people who are just like, I want everything purple. Yeah, people are similar with green too. That's why I buy so much green for the shop, because people get it. I love green. I'm like, yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
How do we enjoy and dabble in trends the way we like to do and play with colour in a way that's still sustainable, like apart from the obvious of just buying vintage? Because I just know that whole trends and the reason Pantone has a colour of the year and the reason everyone reports on this is the colour of the moment is to get you to buy new things. Exactly. And for those of us who do love new things but don't want to buy new things,
well,
like I do like to change up my style every now and then, but I don't want to buy new things every time.
Well, I'm stuck on the answer because you said apart from the obvious, which is buying secondhand or vintage.
But the other thing is also
exactly
that, like,
what I would suggest.
If that's what everyone's doing, then it's not as you can't just go, oh, I'll just go to the op shop and get something in my favourite shade of green. Yeah, because it's all gone.
Yeah.
And the stuff that's left at the op shop is whatever poor colour is not of the moment at the time.
Yeah.
You know.
I think this is why it's probably important to just take trends a little bit with a pinch of salt, because if you are out op shopping and you see an interesting shade of, I don't know, like let's come up with a very specific colour, like a sherbet colour. That's a silk shirt and I like the look of it.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is the kind of thing I do. And I'm always buying from op shop just random things because like
it's good.
It's good colour, and also if that shirt is like a natural fibre and it's like, say, just a really basic shirt, there's nothing that would date, it's classic.
Yeah.
I think you're guaranteed to one day come back to that shirt and go, I'm so glad I bought that. Make it a running thing you do, like it's an ongoing, you're seeking out for interesting colours that
like
may not be
an
on
archive
trend.
or something.
Yes, as you say, they're always trying to brainwash us into buying new, but the irony is these colours are not new. These colours have been on trend before. These colour combinations, you probably own that and at least a couple of those combinations, and all you need to do is shop your own wardrobe, you know, and it's never as easy as I make it is. I get that. And
I think the thing about when you discover a new colour that you love, you feel like you need to buy everything in it.
Yeah.
This shirt's a good example because I do love this colour of green and it's everywhere at the moment, and it's very tempting to just buy everything in it, but it's like, no, I have a shirt that colour. Like when I want to wear that green, I'll wear that shirt, you know. But I do think, whether it is because you think it suits you or not, or the trend or something, I do think there are just some colours that you don't wear. I don't buy much red anymore because I was just finding I just don't wear it. That's when I would sort of just be like, I don't think it is worth buying red things. If I've just found consistently that every time I've gone through my wardrobe to give things away, I've ended up giving away the red things.
And that comes with experience and wisdom and self-awareness, right? And
it's like, it's the thought of like, it's not that I don't like red, it's that I don't want to wear red on my body.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you can make that mistake where you buy something because you're in love with the colour, but you actually don't want to wear the colour.
Yeah.
Like maybe you would have been better buying a cushion.
Yeah, agreed, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I have that, I weirdly enough have that with certain types of blue.
Yeah.
So the Mondrian kind of blue, that just or the really royal blue.
Yeah.
I once bought a really expensive dress in that colour when I didn't have much money, and I just remember every single time I put it on, I like just before leaving the house would take it off again. And I can't even tell you why. It was a beautiful blue, it was a beautiful dress, but I couldn't wear it.
That's funny because I was at a shop launch recently for Ruby Raisin in Dulwich Hill.
Yes.
She's a friend of mine, and she has this really lovely style of dress that she does in new colours every year. Like, it's very popular. And I was trying it on, and her newest colour was like a very bright, like ocean blue. You know that Greek, the roofs in Greece?
Yes.
Like that blue, really bright, and it's so striking. And it did look really good on, and it was, everyone in the room went, oh, yes, get that.
You?
Yeah. And she also had the same dress in like a rust colour, which I loved. And I put both on, like not at the same time, obviously. Yeah. And everyone in the room was going, the blue, oh my God, it has to be the blue. You can't buy a brown dress like the blue, because the blue was more striking and it was more attention seeking. And, and it's not that I didn't want the attention. I'm just looking, and I was like, I can see that this blue looks good on me, but I know I'll wear the rust so much more, because that's a colour that I consistently wear a lot. And so I ended up buying that one. But it's interesting how like, it looked good on me, it didn't wash me out, people liked it, but it was still just knowing, and I think anyone else could be easily convinced to just go with the colour that everyone says, and then they don't wear it, and you end up feeling,
that's a very good point.
in the shop with, you know, people are choosing dresses for occasions, and if they do come with friends, sometimes the friends will egg them on and they'll end up going more and more. They've come in saying, oh, I'm being invited to a really fashionable event and we have to really get dressed up and people are going to look fabulous. I'm not that person. I don't have that confidence.
Yeah.
I don't know what to wear. And so I'll start them out in something that's not conservative, but something that they would feel comfortable in that environment. And then their friends end up getting them to try on more and more outlandish things that they're like, oh, are you sure? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And in the room, we're all talking them into it, going, you actually look amazing. It would be perfect for the event.
Yeah.
But then there's a part of me thinking, but we're amping them up now.
Yeah.
I'd rather they take the safer option, because they're going to get home without all the friends around, getting it ready by themselves in their apartment and go, no, I can't do it. And then they'll just wear something they own that's, you know, not as exciting. Whereas, like, if you take the safer option, you would wear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I don't even know what I'm getting at.
No, no, you've got at it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I made my point.
No, you have. I think that's really important, and I think at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to a gut thing. If we need that much convincing to wear a certain colour, maybe it's not for us. I mean, the lucky thing is that she was renting, but imagine if she bought that. You know, I've seen plenty of new with tag clothes in clients' wardrobes.
A lot of our customers have already bought something for the event they're going to.
Yeah, right.
And it's arrived, or they've tried it on and gone, no, I changed my mind. And as much as we love to give people the confidence to wear something different, try something new and be a bit bolder. Yeah. And with vintage, there is less of a risk. You're just buying something that's, you know, it is more sustainable. Yeah. But if you're never going to wear it, it's not sustainable. No. You're still just buying something that you're never going to wear.
Yeah. So. Okay, well, I think when you're shopping, trust your gut. Any kind of trying to increase your confidence has to be in your own wardrobe. That's my theory.
Yeah, okay,
that is where you learn about yourself. With what
you've got.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you try on things that you never have worn, because what you're doing, it's like self-analysis. It's like, well, I obviously bought that for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, what was that reason at the time? And maybe it was because all your friends were telling you to, and maybe you do decide that that's not. But really good to learn from that.
Yeah. So next week we're going to talk about challenges.
Have any of you got a little story to tell about a style challenge that you've partaken in?
Yeah. Like, I know in lockdown, a lot of people were sort of doing, let's like dress up in lockdown, let's keep the style going.
That's true.
Or whether it was a buy nothing new kind of challenge.
Yep.
Any of those kind of, anytime you've set rules for yourself. I have a friend on TikTok who has set a work uniform for herself.
Oh.
If you've ever set like fashion rules for yourself, or you've gone along with someone else, like maybe you've tried a capsule wardrobe challenge or something like that.
We want to hear from you.